Greetings, yogis. Here we are again. Today we'll be moving through the stuff of the hips and the legs. You might want blanket, bolsters, blocks, just in case maybe you don't use it, but you know the drill. Have yourself all prepared. And we'll start in Baddha Konasana today. So you might want the blocks under the outer knees. You might want blanket under your hips. And we'll be interlacing through the toes. So zipping up the toes, starting from bottom to top. So pinky toes up to the big toes. And part of what we're practicing today is discovering the spaces of effortlessness. Because I know that most of the time, most of us try too hard. And when we're trying too hard or putting too much effort into something, we don't really leave space for the divine to come in, do we? We don't really leave space for trusting in the flow and the support of life, of the universe. We don't really give the opportunity for breathing room, right? So whatever we're putting a ton of effort into, it's like if it's a project, let's say, like the project needs to breathe just like you do. If you've ever been working on a piece of art, and this could be anything, this could be painting, sculpture, graphic design, photography, music, dance. If you're ever working on a specific piece and you've been into it for, like 8 hours, or you're 20 hours into practicing a routine or working on a specific piece or whatever it is, and you haven't like stepped back and you haven't stepped out of it yet, it just collapses in and you'll just hit a wall as if there's nothing more to do. And so often people get to this place and think that like it's over and like their creative juice is gone and all of this type of stuff, right? But all it is that your creative juices just need space to flow. Right? And it needs space to breathe and be, because in order to have something creative or be created, it's not just you doing the creating, right? Most of the creating comes from the unconscious spaces that are supported by the universal wisdom that is far beyond the logical mind. And there are so many examples of this in nature, but I mean, of course, having a child would be one of the ways. Sure, you have to actively participate in the creative aspect, and also you become part of the creation in itself, right? I'm speaking if it was a woman having a baby, of course, like someone with baby within, you feed off of each other in so many ways when it comes to like that spiritual understanding. And yes, of course, the baby does feed off of the mother as well, right? Like there's this exchange that happens, is my point. And we don't think about it, is my other point. It's not something that we try to like push, force, use a ton of effort to create. It's a matter of, I need to just listen and let it be. Honor the wisdom that comes through rather than try to force what the small ego perception thinks is the only way forward, right? If it's available, you could gently walk your hands forward. Breathe in and breathe out here. Feel the outer edges of your feet gently press together. We just have a few more breath cycles. I'm sure your hips are starting to feel it already. Can you bring your breath a little bit lower, down and toward your hips even? Maybe your fingertips can inch just a teeny bit further forward as you let your head relax. So can you tap into the space of effortlessness? And maybe notice the places that hang on, that cling, and see what you can do to soften, or just see what it feels like to even consider it as a possibility. Take your time and just walk your hands back in. We'll mindfully undo through the toes. And close the legs together. Use your hands to help you. Give your legs a little shake. And we'll be extending the legs forward now. So you may want to have your blanket rolled up behind your knees here, or even your bolster behind the knees. Either way, you need your pelvis neutral, so your sit bones are down, and it's very accessible for you to be able to sit tall. So if sitting tall doesn't feel easy, bend your knees. You'll notice it becomes a lot easier, and maybe choose to have that support beneath. Let's enjoy a breath in and get really nice and tall here. On the breath out, just slowly walk your hands down your legs. Don't get too comfortable here yet. Just notice where your hands walk to. Feel your navel draw in as your belly presses down toward your thighs. As you inhale, walk the hands up the legs. You're nice and tall. Exhale again, walk hands forward. Double check that all 10 toes are facing up. Maybe you can catch the outer edges of your feet and pull the chest forward. Remember, knees can be bent here. The goal is to keep the belly onto the thighs. Elbows could draw in toward the outer legs as your chest pulls forward. Feel shoulder blades away from the shoulders, sliding down the back. Maybe look toward the mat, forehead faces down, crown reaches toward the toes. And inhale slowly. Start to walk your hands up your legs. Come all the way up. You got it. Let's do another breath in. Point your toes. If your knees are bent, please don't worry about the pointing toes. Exhale, fold forward. Walk your hands down your legs. Grab ankles, or again, catch the outer edges of your feet. If your toes are pointing forward, keep it going and feel your chest pull toward the toes. Then you can flex your feet. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, fold even deeper. Now we'll hold here for a few cycles of breath. So you could let your head relax. If you have a block nearby and it's easier for you, you could place the block between your calves and let the forehead rest on top, so the block will be on its highest setting. If you've got a little more space in the hamstrings and legs are straight, you could place the block at the soles of the feet and hang on to the block instead of your feet. Few more cycles of breath here. So wherever you're at, just make sure you're tapping into a sense of softening as best as you can. Can you feel the breath expanding your back body? So the back side of your lungs.
Can you feel your ribs expand widthwise? And take your time, nice and easy. Start to walk your hands up your legs. Hands then come behind, bend your knees. Slide the heels in, then slide the hips forward and up and shift to your reverse table. Again, you've got to be strong here, but do your best to find the places that you can relax. Breathe in. Can you lift your hips a little higher? Breathe out. Lower the hips down. Sitting up, let's bring the right knee out wide, sole of right foot to inner left thigh. Sitting tall in our Janu Shirsasana. Seated head to knee pose. Fingertips could be on the mat behind you and your left knee could be bent, okay? Again, whatever helps you keep your hips neutral, that's important. On an exhale, take your time and start to fold over your left leg to your edge. You could keep your hands relaxing behind. If it feels easier for you or more relaxing, you could let the arms come forward. And we want to just move into it like an easy stretch here, not something that we're putting a ton of effort into, right? So you can hang on to your foot as long as that's actually relaxing for you. And if it's not, if it feels like you're straining, then just be where your elbows can relax with ease on the ground, or your hands. A few more cycles of breath. Nice and easy. Start to walk your upper body up. Slide your left heel in. Right hand to the outer left foot. Left hand behind, fingers are on the ground. Extend your left leg to your edge as you gently rotate your chest to the left. And just breathe in and breathe out. And you can walk your left hand back and even a little bit to the right so that you can feel your chest open a little bit more. But again, find the space of effortlessness here. So you're really opening that space like a big stretch, like a big yawn with a stretch out of yourself. Get all that gunk out from behind the heart. And take your time, nice and easy. Bring your chest to face forward. Let your left knee bend. You can bring that foot down to the ground. And bring your right knee now to face forward so that your left foot can step outside your right knee. Right arm hugs around left leg and you twist again to the left. Left hand behind the back. Now, if it's available to you, you could reach your right fingertips up, 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 and bring your right elbow outside your left thigh, palm up like a stop sign, left hip stays down. You could also bring your right hand toward your right heel as you rotate here. And take your time, nice and easy. Rotate your chest to face forward and move into Gomukhasana. So left thigh is on top. Of course, if this is a bit too much right now, you can lengthen your bottom right leg out. Otherwise, we're working to stack the knees And one day we'll have the shins parallel with the top edge of the mat. You can push into your feet and just kind of wiggle the knees closer together and lift the hips. Find your space where you can just like wiggle around, use the support of your blanket, block, whatever. We'll sit tall here, bringing the right hand behind the back, left hand onto right elbow, sitting tall. Leaning into your right arm a bit. Just enjoying that nice big opening. Stay tall if available. Left hand can scoop down and back up into monkey grip. Stay relaxed though. Find the effortlessness. Navel draws in, we round the spine. Think forehead to the knee as you release the hands down to the ground. By all means, you could have a block stacked on your top knee. You may be able to just let your head relax. It might touch your knee, it might not. Just be where you can. See about relaxing into it with little effort. Breath moves in and out of the nose. Can you expand into the back of your body as you breathe? Can you think of your breath moving down into your hips? Can you relax through your face? Feel your tongue relax heavy in your bottom jaw. Or you could press the tongue toward the roof of the mouth if that's easier for you today. Unclench your jaw. Take your time, nice and easy. Start to walk your upper body up, move nice and slow. Lean back enough just so you can easily undo through your legs. Give them a little shake. And let's move into Janushirasana on the other side. So your right leg is straight, left knee is bent out to the left, sitting tall on the breath in. And on the breath out, hands could start behind and the chest pulls forward and down as the belly touches the right leg. Remember, you could have your right knee bent. Make sure you feel nice and relaxed here. If it feels easily accessible, hands could come forward, elbows could rest down, or whatever feels the easiest. Just again, make sure you're not putting too much effort into it. Could you imagine, again, your breath moving down? So as you breathe in, your breath moves down toward the hips. Feel your chest pull a tiny bit further forward. Take your time. We'll inhale to start walking up here. You'll bend your right knee, left hand reaches for the outer edge of the right foot, and then we'll extend the right leg away, toes to the sky. Right hand is behind you, so you can give yourself a lovely little twist to the right. And remember, right leg does not have to straighten. You're finding your edge. You want to be able to lift your chest and rotate. Breathe in, breathe out. And the weight on the back hand should be minimal. It's there for support, but it's not really doing much. Take your time, bend through the right knee, and slowly let the sole of the right foot come down. Left knee starts to face forward, so you can walk your right foot outside your left leg. Of course, your bottom leg could be straight here as well. You find your edge. Left arm hugs the right leg. We rotate. Breathe in and breathe out so the right arm is still behind you, nice and close though now, so you can help keep your spine tall. And if available, left fingers could reach way up, opening all that left side of the body. Then we exhale, left elbow down to the outer knee. Maybe you find the foot. You rotate. Continue to sit tall. Breathe. And take your time. Slowly start to turn back to center, moving into Gomukhasana here. Again, bottom leg could be straight. Either way, we're working to stack the knees. So right knee stacks on left. We have the feet open. Maybe we have our shins parallel to the top edge of the mat. Who knows? But get yourself situated. Make sure you feel good. Remember, use your block, use your bolster, blanket, whatever. See what it helps you with today. Breathe all the way in. Let's bring the left arm up and give ourselves a little pat on the back. Right hand onto the left elbow as we sit tall. Breathe in and breathe out. Find that space where you're leaning back a little bit. And you could sweep right fingers down and back up again. Maybe you find monkey grip behind your back. Still sitting tall though, your head presses into the back arm, or into the left arm, I should say. Nice and easy. Start to round your spine as you fold forward, releasing fingers down to the mat. Maybe your forehead comes down to your knee or to a block, or neither. Breathe in and out here. Think of the breath moving down your back into your hips, each inhale, rooting you a little closer to the earth. Each exhale allowing you to soften a little more. Remember, keep the weight in your hips and out of your knees, so you might need to use your hands to keep your hips pressing down. So your hands onto the floor in front of you, pushing down helps you keep your hips rooted to the ground. Keep your elbows drawing gently into the body, and then do your best to just soften into that effort with some effortlessness. Relax your jaw. Maybe noticing any differences between the sides so far. Take your time. Start to come all the way up with your upper body, leaning back just enough so you can easily undo through your legs. Give them a little shake. Wasn't that nice? Now we'll be going wide with the legs, so you may want to go widthwise on your yoga mat. And once you get the legs nice and wide, you can use your hands, one in front, one in back, to help lift and slide your hips a little further forward. Now, of course, thighs, knees, shins, toes need to face up and sit bones need to face down. Spine needs to be tall, shoulders over the hips with ease. So if you're here and this like leaning back thing is happening and you're like, yeah, I got it, but you know you're leaning back, put your hands behind you and sit up. Feel your sit bones push down. There's a significant difference. In the other position, your sit bones are facing almost forward and you're crunching in the lower abdomen. In this position, your sit bones are down and your abdomen is pulled in and straight, relatively straight, but it's not sunk in, okay, is my point. So you want to find that neutral position with your hips. Remember, your knees could be bent, okay? So bend your knees. If your hips are not in the correct position, bending your knees will get them there. So sit tall. You can have your blocks behind your knees, fingers behind, chest can start to pull forward. Now there will be a point where it's easier to bring your hands forward, but that point will only come after your hips are comfortably in a neutral position here, okay? So you might be keeping your fingers behind or you might be folding forward. But don't get your ego caught up in thinking that folding forward and your elbows down is somehow better than having your chest up and your fingers back. It's good. You've got a nice amount of tension in your body that you can really feel your way through. And being right here, you're getting the exact same stretch through the inner line of the legs. Okay, so no comparing practices. Let's breathe in and breathe out.
And wherever you're at, just feel your sternum pulling away from your hips. So relative to the position of your hips, your sternum pulls upward. Maybe you can spread your toes a little bit, wiggle them around. We'll hang out here. Now, this is another opportunity where you could use a block actually like under your belly. If you're having a really hard time keeping your hips in a good position, you can place a block right in front of your hips so that you feel that immediate support with the block under the abdomen. Okay, so that's really nice. And then you can use a block as well under your forehead so that you can just relax. Now, you don't have to use either of these supports. Maybe they don't work for you today. But if they do, then enjoy. Otherwise, keep hanging out where it feels good for you. We'll be here for a little bit longer. Can you find the same breath where it's focused on the breath moving down the spine? Each inhale, the breath moves down, down, down. Relax through your jaw. Notice the sense of calm moving through your body. Inhale, take your time. Come all the way up. If you were using your blocks, just set them aside. Hands come to the inner knees so you can easily lean back, let the knees bend in toward each other, or bend so you can drag the heels into each other and give the legs a nice little shake. Good. And from here, let's come down onto the belly into Sphinx pose. So shoulders and elbows are aligned. Press the elbows down, wrists are in front of the elbows. Make sure your quadriceps are facing down, so just take a moment to get that positioning. Untuck your toes, and just feel your chest lift up here. Breathe in and breathe out. Bow like halfway forward. Feel your elbows pull back and the length that comes through your neck. And then we'll inhale and lift the head back up again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. And continue. Just bowing on the exhale, lifting up on the inhale. Now you may notice that your body is open to coming up into seal when you lift up.
And then you can come back down into your Sphinx as you bow. That's totally fine. So if that works for you, work into that flow. But again, it's like finding the sense of effortlessness in all these movements. And how we tap into effortlessness is tapping into how smoothly we can do a movement, how we coordinate it with the breath. Notice what you notice. Maybe close your eyes. And do 2 more repetitions with whatever flow you've gotten into here. Eventually, stack the hands, open the elbows, let your head rest down. If you were resting on one cheek, just switch it up, look the other way. Reach your right arm forward, use your left hand to help you roll onto the back. Make sure you can easily grab a block. Knees are bent, feet are on the mat, shoulder blades are flat. Make sure your neck feels long here. Press into the feet, slide your block underneath on the medium height. Of course, if that's way too much, then stick on the lower one, but if you've got the space, and I suspect you do, go to the middle. And just feel the weight of your hips settle onto the block there. It should feel pretty nice. One knee at a time, come in to stack over the hips. Your arms are just relaxed wherever is comfortable. For me, I'm going to choose relaxed and overhead. The ankles are just kind of dangling, your knees face the ceiling. Let your big toes touch. And then extending your legs, reach the toes to the ceiling in kind of a lazy way. And just stay balanced and relaxed. Try to relax the muscles on your face. Relax the muscles in your legs as you just hang out here. Relax your forehead and your cheeks. Take your time. Slowly deepen the bend in your knees to let your heels move toward your glutes. Keep the big toes touching and slowly bring your toes toward the ground. I know it can feel a little far away sometimes. Adjust the feet to hip distance apart and continue to pause here. Now adjust your shoulder blades, make sure they're sliding down the back. Release your arms down to the sides so you can easily grab your block, but first, press your heels down and lift your hips up, up, up. Notice how high your hips lift off your block, and if you can, turn your block to the third height and let your hips settle down there. Letting your arms relax by the sides. Feel that big opening of your chest. Pause and breathe here. Do your best to stay relaxed through your face. If available, bring one knee at a time to stack over the hips. So you need to be mindful of your block. You don't want to be falling here, so make sure it's not tippy and that you are stable. Otherwise, keep your feet on the ground. Big toes touch if available. Work to extend the legs up, which they will go a lot straighter likely this time. And you do have to use more effort here. Not too much, but you do need to use some. So it doesn't matter where you're at, we're still getting the same benefits, the lymphatic stimulation. We're helping out our circulation, our digestion, regulating the breath, the vagus nerve. Breathe. Take your time. If your legs were extended, big toes keep touching. You'll mindfully bend through both knees. You can open the feet to hip distance apart and slowly begin to bring your toes down. Again, it can feel kind of far away, so just move nice and easy. Let your heels lower down. You still have the support of your block. Now press into your feet, lift your hips away from your block. Look at all that space you have. Mindfully set the block aside. Lay your spine down from top to bottom. So pull your belly in. Mindfully let your spine come down. Hips come down last. So you might need to do a little crunching action in the abdomen. Eventually allowing hips to come down. Arms relax overhead. Supta Baddha Konasana. So once again, soles of feet come together as the knees open up. By all means, you can use the support of your blocks if that works for you here, or just hang out. Close your eyes, let your body just receive all of that. And one leg at a time, mindfully just lengthen out. Legs can be a little wider than the yoga mat. Arms relaxed, however is comfortable for you. Neck is long. Closing the eyes. Be witness to your breath. As you inhale, watch the breath move down and toward your hips. As you exhale, watch the breath come back up and out. Witness the ease. Be in a space of effortlessness and softening. Feel your body soften and sink like you were a puddle melting into the ground, spreading out, releasing. Inhale, deepen your breath. Let it go. Enjoying a lovely stretch and reach through the body. Oh, maybe enjoy a yawn, a little wiggle, shift side to side, whatever wakes you up here and now. Eventually bending through one knee and then the other to place the feet on the mat. One knee at a time, come into the chest, arms around the legs, give yourself a hug with the head relaxed down. Chin in toward the throat, float your head and shoulders up. And roll to one side. Press yourself up into a seat that feels comfortable for you. And here we are. Let's bring our palms to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Notice how you're feeling here, and that sense of groundedness within. Let's enjoy a full breath in of loving gratitude into ourselves, and a breath out of loving gratitude for everyone else. And thank you for our practice today. Namaste. I sure hope you found the spaces of effortlessness within the effort, and that you can carry that off of the mat today and, into all the other beautiful arenas of life. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. Sending you lots of love. See you again soon. Bye.